Hi, this is the video about modification of the Gigabyte G34WQC monitor, which shutoffs randomly and turns on after a while again. The problem is with the main chip of the control board. I would believe that if you send the monitor to warranty, they will change the PSU, so not every time the warranty will help you. So, to the modification. There's easy part, and then there's the hard part, which is also a dangerous one. I don't recommend this modification if you don't know how to solder or how to handle dangerous high voltage electronics. So I would recommend you, if you don't have experience with this, I would recommend you to give it to your friend which knows what he's doing. So the easy part. I have a heatsink. This is some heatsink from old GPU. If you don't have anything like this, I believe you can buy something similar on Amazon, but be careful about the height, because you need to be lower than this part, I believe. Let me just measure it from the chip. It's about 11 millimeters, so it needs to be really a low profile. The modification I done was, I will show you in a second, the main chip. I put thermal paste on the main chip. On your board you will just see a black chip. When I measured my chip, without the heatsink, it was operating at 90 or 100 degrees Celsius, and as we know, silicon slowly degrades when it's over 95 degrees Celsius. So I believe the chip was overheating. In my setup, I have a PC in a table, then there's a wall and the desk, and the monitor stands on the desk. So I believe the hot air is coming from the PC and heating up the air around the monitor, so it gets even hotter. So after like maybe I think 5 years I had the monitor, it's starting having these troubles. So I put the thermal paste on it, I put the heatsink on it, there's 2 layers of the Carlton tape, so I put the heatsink on it, I applied pressure so the thermal paste spreads evenly, and then I tape it to the board. Then I took another layers of the Carlton tape just in case the heatsink comes off, because the thermal paste could dry, could lose the stickiness it has, and if the heatsinks fall off, I don't want to short anything. So to protect the board, I just used the Carlton tape, but the heatsink needs the clearance, so I taped only over these parts. If you buy heatsink, it will not probably have these parts, so maybe I would recommend buy a thermal glue, not the thermal paste, but thermal glue. But I personally don't have experience with the thermal glue. I believe when you use the thermal glue and put the heatsink on, you will probably not be able to take it off again. So I would strongly recommend to use I don't know, I'm recommending different things. The thermal glue would hold the heatsink without any places where you can tape it, but it will hold the heatsink strongly, so it's permanent. If you use a normal paste, maybe it will hold, but just protect the board so it doesn't get shorted when you tam budu muset udělat někde nějaký cut. To udělám, nic. I used these parts to hold the heatsink down, but I believe the thermal paste can hold it itself if you buy a heatsink and it doesn't have these places where you can tape it. But I would strongly recommend to use some kind of tape to protect the board if the heatsink comes off. I think you could even use thermal glue, not the thermal paste but thermal glue, but the connection would be quite permanent because I believe that the thermal glues are really strong, and if you then try to take it off, I think you could damage the chip. So it's up to you what you can find. This was the easy part. Now the hard part, the PSU. The PSU uses the main voltage. It has strong capacitors. If you don't know what you are doing, don't even open this. There are capacitors that can kill you, so be really careful with this. I had it unscrewed already. When I take the cover off, you can see the big capacitor. This is a really dangerous one. Even these ones are dangerous. Don't touch anything on this board with your bare hands. Here is the cable that I used to power on the fan. It's soldered on the negative side. It's soldered to the screw because the screw is connected to the ground that are coming from the PSU. It's the ground same as these black wires. And the second one is soldered to this bridge wire between the two capacitors. On that bridge wire there are 12 volts, which is same 12 volts that are powering the board. So I try to be non-invasive as much as possible, so I just used these two connections. You could even use some connections on the board, but the board is mainly SMD components, so there isn't a very good place where I can solder to, so I use the connection in the power supply. So I'll just close it so I don't hurt myself. It was supposed to be temporary solution, but it became permanent. I just soldered the connections so they are hard and they doesn't bend because this is a normal wire. And here's the back panel. I cut a hole in it on the right side from the leg. This is standard PC fan. I think it's the 120mm one. I just place it on there, use a marker, then Dremel, and cut a hole in it. Then I just use a bit of hot glue to hold it in. It's wobbly, but it doesn't need to hold strong in it. I didn't modify the cable. This is the standard connection of the fan. I just used the tinned connections and I just put them in the correct holes in here. I put the fan on the right side because well, there isn't a very good place to put it elsewhere. I used this one because I had it lying around, but if you want to do it, I would say properly, I would buy a smaller one, like maybe a half a size, maybe even smaller, just some small fan, probably even thinner, and I would place it under here, under the leg. But you need to think about the clearance from the leg, so you can have it there. But if you put it here, it will have a better placement over the cooler. But I'm using this one. It's big. The space in there is really small, so when this is running, there's air blowing from all the holes, so there's a lot of overpressure, a lot of fresh air in there. So I'm not worried that it's not directly over the CPU that we need to cool. I put it on the right side because I think why not cool the power supply also, because on the left side it would only cool, no, it would mainly cool the main board, so I put it on the right side. One thing, the fan is running continuously. I kinda forgot to fix this when I first sold it, because I was going for a work trip, so I just fixed it, played some games, then forgot about this. When you connect it as I showed you, it will spin like 24/7. When the monitor is connected, this will spin. But I used some Corsair fan. It's not, I don't hear it when it's running, so I don't mind that. The consumption, there will be something, but like the fan, come on, the fan isn't like something crazy, so nah. If you would if you don't like the spinning all the time, then well, you will need to find something, some branch with the 12 volts on this board, which powers on only when the monitor is connected to picture, and I believe that will be hard, because well, I don't know where I would even search for that voltage, so I just use this one. It spins all the time, but I don't mind that. Well, maybe I could have started with that, but when you take the back panel off, you will need to use something like a guitar pick. This is the special from the iFixit kit, and you will need to go around the sides, not the bottom but the sides. On the bottom you need to unscrew a few screws which are there, don't forget about them, and then you unclip the sides, and from the top you will take it from the monitor up, and then you can take it off. Then there will be two cables which will be connected to the main board, so just unplug them and you can take the whole cover off. It was a bit chaotic, but this was the modification I've done. I hope it helped you understand what's necessary to do, and if you have some questions, ask, and I will try to help as much as I can.